Hi, I'm Mickie Zeta, and this is Cool Retired Women's Club. Thanks for being here for this live video. You know, I just did a poll on the group, and there were a lot of great responses, terrific responses, and I'm so excited that I asked the questions and that you responded so well. One of the things that came up several times is, what can I do? How can I be of service while I'm in retirement? Now that I've retired, you know, some of us feel like we just don't have anything else to offer. Hi, Michelle. Or we think that we are too old to do anything more. So I'm going to share my experience. And it's because I understand that. When I retired, I didn't know. I kind of felt out of it, like I wasn't vital anymore. I didn't have anything to offer, but I was wrong, and you are too. If you're thinking you don't have anything to offer, that's not true. So what I'm going to tell you is about what I did, how I, the best experience and the best stories are personal. So that's what I'm going to share, and it wasn't easy for me to make that adjustment out of retirement, but here's how it worked. Here's what I did. When I was 53, I left domestic abuse. I had lived in domestic abuse for 34 years. Of course, it wasn't horrible all the time, but it was bad enough that it was definitely domestic abuse. And at 53, I realized I didn't know who I was or what I was going to do, or I'd never lived alone. I was scared to death, and that kind of prepared me for retirement, for getting out of my comfort zone in not working anymore. But what I did was I put myself in a repair shop, because I knew if I did not change, if I did not improve who I was going to end up with another abuser, because that's the pattern. That's what happens. You hear it all the time. And this is not about domestic abuse. This is about what I became afterward. So for 5 years in a repair shop, I hired coaches, I hired counselors, and I'm going to tell you, I didn't have any money. I did qualify for a little credit card that had a very low limit, and I used that to pay for classes and for books and for counselors and for coaches. And I applied what I learned. You can learn all kinds of stuff, but if you don't apply it, you're not going anywhere. Well, I applied it, and I'm so grateful that I did, because eventually I was able to use what I learned to become a coach myself and to help other women who had left abuse. I didn't want to work with women who still lived in abuse, because that's a very dangerous time. You know that 70% of women are more like, we're 70 times more likely to be killed right when we leave our abusers. So I didn't want to work in that arena. I wanted to work with women who had gotten out. And that's what I did. I used what I learned in the process. I was about 60 years old when that really took effect. And that's when I decided I would coach those kinds of women who are leaving abuse, who have left abuse. And I turned that into a business. I turned that into my podcast and articles and coaching. I sold classes. I wrote a book. It's called Looking Behind Closed Doors. And the subtitle is, If We Don't Change, Nothing Changes. Because I totally believe that. And that applies to what I'm talking about today. You might be sitting there thinking, I don't have anything to offer, but I'm bored. I want to be able to do something for my community, or for other women, or for whomever your clientele, your niche might be. Well, you can do that, and that's why I'm sharing this story. I use what happened to me in those years when I lived in abuse, and those years following that, to make me stronger, to understand what had happened and why that happened, and to help other women see the light too, to say, you know what, I don't have to continue being a victim. I can become a survivor, a thriver. I call it thriver. My podcast back then is still out there. It's called Shatterproof: Thriving After Domestic Abuse. And I loved podcasting. I podcasted for about 5 years. Well, that kind of ran its course, and that was in about a 5-year period of time. So I thought, what else do I have to offer? What else can I do? And that's when I retired, or when I realized that there are so many retired women out there. And we cool retired women are vital. We have a lot to offer. We have had experiences that are phenomenal and unique to us, but commonly experienced in our community. Excuse me. So what I did was, my sister, I think you may have heard this story, but my sister retired September 1st of 2019, this past September. And I sent an email to our sister-in-law and said, hey, Sandy's now a member of the Cool Retired Women's Club. I don't know where those words came from, Cool Retired Women's Club, but I loved it. I thought, this is really cool. I can use this. So I did. That afternoon, I started the first Cool Retired Women's Club page, and then I created the group. And then I did the YouTube channel where I post these videos, and then I decided I was going to go back to podcasting. I loved podcasting. It was a lot of fun. I built a pretty good community there. So my podcast should launch in iTunes and Stitcher and Google and all those places this week. My producer sent that into iTunes, I think Thursday or Friday last week. So today is Tuesday, so that should launch. That should launch pretty soon. I'll put a post in the thing because I'm real proud of that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So now I've morphed into Cool Retired Women's Club because I'm a cool retired woman. And I know about how to talk to other people and how to bring in the things that people want to hear about. Like this video. We all want to know, what do we do now? Now that we're retired, what do we have to offer? How are we of service? So Cool Retired Women's Club is meeting that need for me now that I'm not doing the other coaching and the other podcasts. So see, that's what I'm telling you. You can, hi Janine, glad to have you here. So what you can do is tell your, well, you know what you might need to do is write things down. Write down some experiences that you've had. Write down some ideas that have come to you that maybe you could do for a business or for volunteering. I'm going to encourage you to start a business because, yes, we're older and some of us just don't need the income, but many of us do. And so thinking about making some money is not necessarily a bad thing. Hi, Debbie. Glad to have you here. So here's what I'm going to say. Take a piece of paper and write down your experiences, the things that you have to offer that other people can relate to. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us is unique, and our stories and our experiences are unique, but there's still a common thread. My story of living in domestic abuse is unique to me. My experiences, the things that I lived through, the way that I rationalized it in my head, the reasons I didn't leave, those were all unique to me, but every single woman who's lived in domestic abuse, and that's 1 in 3, have had similar experiences. They can relate to my stories and I can relate to theirs. Well, you've got something in your life that is exactly that way, and you can use that to turn it into a business if you want to. So maybe you're an artist. Teach art classes. Maybe you're maybe you were a school teacher or you taught college a specific session. I have a friend who loves Benjamin Franklin, and she does a podcast it's called Benjamin Franklin's Life, and that's all she talks about. It's history. It's what she knows, and she's turned that into an amazing business. So it doesn't really matter what it is that you've done, but you've got something. You've got something that you can teach, that you can share with other retired women or whoever you choose. Doesn't have to be retired women, but you know what? We are a huge, amazing, fabulous community, and we're ready to learn. We're older, but we're refired. Remember what I talked about? We're not retired, we're refired. So you can refire yourself. Think about what have you done? What has your life experience been that you can share with other people that they'll relate to? And hi, Kathy, nice to have you here. And you'll come up with something. You'll come up with something. You know, at first I thought, well, I'm going to have to take a job as a greeter at Walmart. And it's not that there's anything wrong with being a greeter at Walmart. That's just not me. That's not the service I'm looking to provide. I want to be an inspiration. I want to encourage other women to discover who they are and to move forward. That's one of the classes I'm going to offer. It's a paid class, and it's finding your mission statement, discovering your mission statement. I've had several names for that class, and I'm working on a new name, but the basic is the same. It teaches you. One of my friends teaches this too. She was a coaching client of mine. Now she's a coach, and she calls her class, "What in the World Am I Here For?" I love that title. What in the world am I here for? When you know your mission statement, you know that. I know my mission statement, and that I discovered that about 15 years ago after I was divorced and after I went through my 5-year, I call it 5-year repair shop. So my mission is my mission is in confidence and faith to align with divine intent and serve as a beacon to others. I think that Cool Retired Women's Club, that was divine intent. I didn't think of those words. They just came to me. And I said, hey, this is something. And look what's happening. Look at this community. So soon I'm going to be teaching a class in 2020. I'll be teaching a class about discovering your mission statement. Doesn't matter how old you are. I was into my 60s when I figured out my mission statement. And that's how I live now. following divine intent, and serving as a beacon to others. And that's what this video is about, serving as a beacon. Whatever it is that you've got, hi Judy, whatever it is that you've got that in your past, in your history, in your experience, there's something that you know how to do. And you know what? This is amazing. As human beings, when we, whatever our special gifts are, we think everybody can do it. They can't. Everybody can't do what you know how to do. So decide what that is and take baby steps. Figure out what you can do to turn that into whatever you want it to be. Maybe you want it to be classes. Maybe you want it to be a podcast or live videos or create a YouTube channel or a TV, have a TV show, your own radio show. I had a radio show once on Voice America, which I loved. It was great fun. It was personal growth. So there's so much you can do. Whatever you've got, whatever your passion is, find your passion, find your reason, find your why, and say, you know what, I'm going to go with this, I'm going to do something. It doesn't matter that I'm retired from my current, from my previous job. It doesn't matter that I'm 60 or 70 or 80 years old. What matters is your passion. What matters is that you know you have something to offer and you're willing to take the steps, go out on that limb, go out on that branch, and do what it is you want to do. Janine, I hope you're still watching because I know you're talking about writing a book. I suggest that you do that. It will be incredible because your story is unique. Your story is strong and you will inspire and encourage other women. That's what this life is all about, what we can do in service. We're never too old. Just because we're retired does not mean we're too old to provide service and joy and enthusiasm to other people. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I love this cool Retired Women's Club organization, community. It's so exciting. There's so many cool things that are coming up. But I hope that this video helped answer the questions for those of you who asked, what can I do? How do I move forward? How do I be of service in retirement? I hope this helped. I hope my story helped you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And I'll be back. We'll stay in touch on Facebook. Thanks for being here. I so appreciate you being involved in this community. I think it's great fun. I hope you do too. Oh, I'm going to tell you. You can refer this to your friends and send them to the webpage, coolretiredwomensclub.com, coolretiredwomensclub.com, or invite them to join the group. There's just so much fun stuff going on out there. You can do this too. I'm hoping that while we're talking here, that you're thinking of things that you can do to help yourself be of service. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be talking on Facebook.